All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to trace the incredible and, sometimes controversial history of a business model that literally turned personal trust into a global industry. It's a story that completely reshaped how things get from a factory all the way into our homes. So what on earth could possibly connect a health discovery made in China 100 years ago with the Instagram and TikTok influencers you see every day? It sounds kind of random, right? But believe it or not, the answer takes us on this amazing journey of an idea that completely flipped direct selling on its head. Let's connect those dots. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, it wasn't in some fancy boardroom. Nope. It started with just one man and a really powerful insight that would become the foundation for, everything that came after. Picture this. It's the 1920s, and a guy named Carl Rehnborg is living in China, and he starts noticing something pretty fundamental. The people who ate more fresh plant-based diets just seemed to be healthier. This wasn't just some passing thought. This was the spark that would eventually ignite a multi-billion-dollar industry. So Rehnborg takes this big idea, comes back to the United States, and he gets right to work. By 1934, he's founded the California Vitamin Company, which he later rebrands as Nutrilite. And get this is where he introduces the world to the very first multivitamin supplement. But, the product itself was only half of the innovation. And here's where the business model gets really, really clever. Think about how businesses usually work, right? They pour fortunes into advertising. But Rehnborg, he had this totally radical idea. Why not reward the people who were already using and loving his products for just sharing them with their friends and family? It was genius. He basically turned his customers into his sales force. An idea this powerful isn't just going to stay small for long. And right in the middle of America's post-war boom, it found two champions who would take it to a scale Rehnborg probably could have never even imagined. And here they are, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel. Now, these guys, they were distributors for Nutrilite, and they totally got the genius behind this person-to-person sales model. They understood that its real power wasn't just about selling vitamins. It was this incredibly human-centric way of doing business. So they decide, we can do this on our own. We can take these core principles and apply them to a whole bunch of other products. So in 1959, that's exactly what they did. They founded Amway. And with that one move, the direct selling model was about to go mainstream in a huge way. And this is the absolute key to understanding their success. Amway wasn't just selling soap and cleaning supplies. They were, but that wasn't the point. They were selling an opportunity. They tapped right into the aspirational spirit of the time, offering people a chance to build their own business, to be their own boss. They were marketing the promise of the American dream itself. But you know how it goes. With massive growth comes massive scrutiny. The industry was about to face a challenge that threatened its very existence and would force it to define, once and for all, exactly what it was. By the time the 1970s rolled around, the government was taking a very hard look at this whole thing. You had regulators getting really concerned about the structure of these businesses and the kinds of promises being made to new recruits. The entire industry was suddenly under a microscope. And it all boiled down to this one huge question that everyone was asking. What's the difference between a legitimate business that rewards people for selling products and an illegal scheme that's just about recruiting more and more people? The entire future of the industry was hanging on that answer. The big showdown. It finally came in 1979. This one year, this was the moment that would change everything. So, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, in its big case against Amway, finally laid down a critical legal framework. It ruled that multi-level marketing was in fact legal, if, and this is a huge if, its main focus was on selling actual products to real consumers. That single distinction legitimized the entire business model and paved the way for it to go global. Okay, so with that legal green light, the industry was ready for its next big evolution. It was time to transform itself to fit a world that was changing, and changing fast. Just look at this transformation. What started out with these small gatherings in quiet suburban living rooms in the 50s gets its legal footing in the 70s, and then bam, the internet arrives and everything just explodes. Fast forward to today, and it's found its absolute perfect partner in the era of the social media influencer. The core concept is still there, but the method, it's completely different. All that old shoe leather from door-to-door sales has been replaced by the clicks and shares of social selling. It's the same principle of using personal networks, just amplified on this massive global digital scale. And the result of all that? a massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry. It's a complex model for sure, and people debate it all the time, but you just can't deny its economic impact and its incredible reach. Ultimately, if you strip it all away, the entire history of this industry really comes down to one simple, incredibly powerful idea. From Carl Rehnborg's first vitamins all the way to a modern influencer's sponsored post, the whole model is built on this belief that a recommendation from a person you actually trust is the most powerful marketing tool there is, period. So, that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about for the future. As technology and AI continue to automate so much of our lives, what happens to that uniquely human power of a personal recommendation? What's next for that? It's definitely something to chew on.